Hello to Boot Time. Here in Lanesborough is a charity business called AccessForAll, and I'm going to see now what's the story about this. Hello Harry, nice to meet you, and nice to have us here in this new facility.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Maybe you can explain something a bit.
Well, thanks very much for coming along, Susie. And this is AccessForAll. So AccessForAll is a charity. It's also a company limited by guarantee. And the ethos of AccessForAll is that it will open up the waterways for everybody. So people with disabilities, people without disabilities, physical disabilities or intellectual disabilities. And we have our own boat. Our boat was specially built in Estonia, and it has a drop-down bow. So it's a little bit like a landing craft. Right, so you drop it in, the bow door goes down, and it's powered by outboard engines. So you've one level throughout. So once, if a wheelchair user, for example, comes along and they want to step on board, they can literally just roll onto the boat.
Oh, great.
It's easier to get onto the boat than it is to get out of the minibus, because obviously they need a lift getting out of the minibus. There's no lifts, there's no hoists. It's just straight on, and it makes the waterways so accessible, but it does so with dignity. There are other boats where people can be lifted up either by a gang of people or by a crane or a hoist, and there's a huge loss of dignity that you and I or nobody else would want to board a boat like that. So that's a big part of it, that it preserves dignity as well.
Yeah.
So
great. So and the people who can you hire this, or
well, it's
with a captain, or
the way it works is it's a tour boat.
Yeah.
So there's always two crew on board, one skipper and a deckhand. It has to be booked online. So our website is loughreeboatclips.com, and there's a phone number there as well. A lot of people prefer to just ring up, and the lads here would make a booking for them. So it's become very, very busy. When it started off, it was quiet, and as word got out, business has gone up 60% from last year, which is a huge increase. So we've taken on new staff, and so it's doing very, very well. It's a really good service, and it's really appreciated by the people we take out. And so we normally do 3 trips a day. We do a trip at 10 o'clock in the morning, another one at 12, and another one at 2:30. Each trip goes out for about 90 minutes. So we're ideally situated here at Ballyleague / Lanesborough, because we're on the northern tip of Lough Ree, so we can go down onto Lough Ree. But if the wind is up, if it's not good weather, we can also head upriver. So as you know, when you go upriver, you have Termonbarry is the next town. Before you get there, you have the Royal Canal, and you've also got the likes of the Kilnacarrow Bridge, which was the railway bridge that used to carry the trains to the turf burning power station here in Lanesborough. That closed down about 2.5 years ago.
So you have a lot to discover on this boat for what you can't see from a street or by. And
that's the thing, when you go on a boat, you get a different perspective of everything anyway. You're seeing you're seeing everything from a completely different angle, and also it just makes it much more interesting. And of course, like Lough Ree itself is a fantastic lake. It's 32 kilometres long. It's about 11.5 kilometres wide at its widest point. There's over 50 islands on it. It's drenched in history. Queen Maeve met her end on Inchclaron. There's so much happening there. The Vikings had a huge base at Rindoon Point, and they built Viking longboats there. They used St. John's Wood for the oak trees to build them, and it's full of history. It's a fascinating lake. Yeah. It really is.
I have seen you have inside the building, you have these big stones at the wall.
Yes.
Are they also, is there a history from Lough Ree?
There certainly is. Yeah. I mentioned Inchclaron, also called Quakers Island, right? Yeah. And that's where Queen Maeve met her death. But those stones also come from Inchclare. So they were gravestones, and what actually happened with them was an interesting story, that a local man here back in 1989 realised that these were extremely valuable stones, and he stole them, he put them on a boat, and he sailed from Galway all the way to Boston. He approached Boston University and told them the story that these stones had been in his family for generations and he wanted to sell them. And he wasn't looking for a small figure, he wanted $6 million for these stones.
Oh my God.
Right? So the
6 million?
6 million. That was his initial asking price for them. And the irony is they're actually probably worth more. But anyway, the Boston University got suspicious. They contacted the museums here in Ireland, and the museum went and they checked the island and they found that these were stolen stones. Okay. So the FBI was involved at this stage. So it became a little small sleepy Irish town, and a local man getting caught out by the FBI. It made huge news at the time. So there was an undercover sting operation done, and the man who was supposed to be the benefactor, putting up the money to buy these stones, was in fact an undercover FBI agent. Yeah. So it was set up where they met, and there was what looked like a load of people playing frisbee, but they were all undercover FBI agents as well. The stones were produced. The price they agreed on at this stage was only £450,000. So the price had gone down. Yeah. But the money was handed over, the stones were handed over, and then all these guys playing frisbee moved in and arrested this guy. And his first thing he said was, "Oh, the benefactor's going to be very annoyed over this." Not realising the benefactor was, of course, an FBI agent. So the stones were then brought back to Ireland. The FBI escorted them back. I think there was a bit of a junket involved there, no? And they were put into a museum in Galway, into the basement of a museum. They've never seen the light of day from that day to this. However, we have the only copies of them that are out there, made here. They're replicas. The only copies available. Wow. Yes. So anybody wants to get a look at them, this is where they are, here in the AccessForAll Centre. And
you can make a Hollywood film of this.
You could nearly make a movie about it, yeah. But so you can imagine, it was 1991 when he was actually caught. So he had the stones for 2 years before he was, or 1992 when he was caught. Yeah. So he had the stones for a few years before he was actually he actually tried to sell them. So, but it made for a fascinating history, and of course it was in all the papers and on television here when it happened as well. So it made for an interesting bit of TV. But he was, as far as I recall, he was convicted and sentenced to time served because he'd been held in custody. So he pretty much got away with it, but didn't sell the stones. But that's the same island then that Queen Maeve is thought to have been killed on. So Queen Maeve was an ancient queen. She lived in the first half of the first century, and she was a queen of Connacht. So she was a formidable woman, and she used to holiday on this island. She used to belong to her sister Clairon, right? And she would go there, but she had an awful lot of enemies in Ulster, and because there was a lot of goings on with a bull, we won't get into that story, and She was assassinated on the island. The legend, and I emphasise it's a legend, it's not history, is that she was killed with a slingshot from the shore. Now I've measured it, and it's about 1.5 kilometres, right? So you'd want to be pretty good with a slingshot. And even then, it wasn't a stone that he put in the slingshot, it was a lump of cheese, right? So the legend is she was killed with this lump of cheese, fired from 1.5 kilometres away on the shore, and she's allegedly buried on Lough Ree, which is the big mountain going into Sligo. You can see there's a cairn on the top of it. The cairn's not her grave, it predates her, but that's allegedly where she's buried, and she's buried standing up. Some say she's facing her foe in Ulster, and others say she's facing her kingdom in Connacht. Some of the locals would say that she's actually buried on Inchclare, and they would say that one of the stones we have inside is actually Queen Maeve's gravestone. It's a long time ago, so who knows?
Amazing, yeah.
Yes, it's
all the history here.
There's a huge amount of it. Yeah,
is accessible now for nearly everybody.
Oh yes, for everybody.
No, for everybody. Yeah?
Absolutely,
if you're
absolutely,
in a wheelchair, or if you have a new knee or a new hip.
Exactly, or even if you're just on a walking frame, or even if you're just infirm with age or whatever it is, and
older people.
Exactly, and so it opens it up to everybody, which is really really important.
Can you go from the boat to one of the islands?
No, at the moment we can't land on any of the islands, because I was saying to you, there's over 50 islands on the lake. They're all in private ownership, with the exception of one island, Inchmacdermott, and that's a bird sanctuary, so you can't go onto it anyway. Yeah. And
so there are no jetties for the other boats as well.
No, there's no jetties, and it's an awful pity, because it'd be, while the Inchcleron has the remains of 7 churches on it, and like St. Kieran, who founded Clonmacnoise, he trained on Inchcleron, so it predates Clonmacnoise. Like there's fabulous history there, but people can't get ashore there to explore it. But it is a pity. It is a pity. But maybe someday, yes. I know there are talks going on, and there's lots of plans to do it, but there's problems with insurance and so forth. But I don't think there are any insurmountable problems. I think if the right people have the will to do it, it can be sorted.
But anyway, you can go. Every person can go on the boat and discover the Lough Ree, the river.
Yeah. The lakes, the islands,
the amazing landscape here from the water.
Yeah.
Do you think it's for the people it's special to be on the water again?
Undoubtedly.
Or the first time, maybe?
Yeah, no, undoubtedly it is. There's no doubt about it, because we wouldn't know our passengers, but most of our passengers would have a carer with them, and they would know the people, and they would be saying to us, "Whoa, Johnny's never been so relaxed, or Mary's never been sitting so still."
Okay.
And there is this huge calming effect by water. I say it's like it's hypnotic, or it dilutes your troubles. And I know if you do pain management, one of the key tools to pain management is distraction, and that's exactly what going on the boat is. It's a distraction. And I say to people that even when you go back home, or maybe they're going to an institution that night or whatever, when they put their head on the pillow, they can close their eyes and be back on the boat. And it is that wonderful distraction. But it certainly does relax people. And even during COVID, when most of the facilities in Ireland were closed down, we had permission from the health board here to operate the boat, because the health board recognised the mental health benefits.
It's so important.
Yes.
That's funny, because days ago we talked to Donald Boland, and he told me there's a book, Blue Mind, and I have to read this because that's the story what you're talking about. The water is special to the people. And there are happening so many things with the people when you're on the water or in the water, and I think that's what you're talking about.
No, absolutely it is, and I think this is why fishermen go fishing. It's not to catch fish; it's to be around water and just to listen to it, and it's just very therapeutic and hypnotic.
Do you have how is it called? Fishing rods?
We do. We do fishing trips. We do fishing trips, but we have to book them specially, because we have our own fishing guide.
Okay.
We supply everything, all the fishing rods, the lures, everything. We don't supply the weather, and we don't supply the fish. But we also have a special type of fishing rod that one of the lads here designed, and it's because you imagine you hold your rod with one hand and you wind in with the other. Not everybody has the dexterity in both hands to be able to do that. So we have a fishing rod that you can use single-handedly, where you just toggle a switch and it'll cast out. It's electric, and it'll reel in again. And we've a second version of it where you can put the rod into a holder and just sit with a box on your lap that has a joystick. So even if you don't have movement in your fingers, you can just move a joystick forwards or backwards to reel in and to cast out. So
I didn't know that
does open the waterways.
That's amazing.
It is, and I mean, I've seen it in action, and it is amazing. We had a man out here who was he's a stroke victim, and he was a keen fisherman and hadn't been able to fish since he'd had a stroke. Hadn't been able to go on a boat even since he'd had a stroke, and he came here and he did both, and it was a sort of a goose pimple day. You know, you get many of them here.
So I think you love this work,
Oh yeah, it's not work.
It
is super.
I know what you mean.
It really is. It's the most rewarding job you could ever have. It really and truly is. Every day is wonderful on it. It really is. It's a wonderful boat, and I can't take any credit for setting this up. There was people far wiser than I that got together and set this up, and it's been so beneficial and such a wonderful success. I think it's been a bigger success than it was ever imagined back at the start, you know.
Great. I can see this in your face that you're happy about this.
It is. It is. It's a super place, and it was badly needed. And there should be a facility like this in every town on the waterway.
Oh yeah.
Really, it would be super. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
You
also have this building where we are sitting now. In the building you can get coffee and cookies.
Yes. Oh yeah, indeed.
And
this building.
And so.
Well, this building was up until a few years ago was a shed belonging to Waterways Ireland, where they stored trucks and tractors and bits and pieces. It's been completely repurposed, and we've put what we call a changing places suite into it, which is much more than just a wheelchair toilet. It's equipped so that anybody with a disability can be looked after. There's a hoist here at the ceiling that can go from anywhere in the room to anywhere else in the room.
It's so smooth. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great.
This is a changing places table. Like when I first started working here, I remember you'd have tables like this for babies.
Yeah.
For changing them. I never realised there was a need for one for adults, but there is, and it's electric as well, so it'll rise up and rise down.
Yeah.
But somebody can also be showered on that table. There's all the shower facilities here to do that.
Wow. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So you either sit here, or they can bring
you lie down.
Yeah. So obviously you've your toilet facilities, and if somebody's there with a carer, there's a screen to offer them privacy as well.
Great.
And even the sink is electric,
and
so
it's
it can go up and down. Do you know? And
I wished we had something like this in Germany too. So.
Well,
it's amazing.
It's a great facility, and there's a lot of people that can't travel very far without
everybody
having this here.
Use this here.
Yeah. No, we wouldn't be in here with them. It would be their carer that would come in.
Yeah.
And they would look after them in here.
But you could, if somebody asks you for help.
Yeah, if somebody we would come in, or maybe they wouldn't know how to use equipment and things like that. We would run through them how to use the equipment, how to use the height.
Okay.
Most of them, to be honest with you, would be very familiar with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because the most of them have this
they'd
long
have
enough.
Similar, they'd have a facility like this wherever they were coming from anyway. Yeah. But no, it's a good facility. So we have a second toilet then, but it's not to the same specifications. This one is just an ordinary wheelchair toilet as well.
It's amazing.
Then we've our coffee dock and and the reception area. Yeah. That's it. And there's a lot of people who wouldn't be able to drive from one side of the country to the other without having a facility like that there. So it's really important. Yeah. And of course you can sit out and have a cup of coffee and watch the boats going past as well.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. No, it's
just
good.
Relax and beside the river.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on the water to get the benefit of the water.
At the moment, if you have been very long on the boat, you get a bit landsick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Call this.
Right.
Everything is moving.
Yes. Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah. That's a good feeling, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Great. So we're going to have a look on the boat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you.
So
it looks amazing, yeah?
Well, this is AccessForAll. This is our vessel. It's built by a company called Aljonaut in Estonia and built specially for us to our own specifications.
Yeah.
It's, as you can see, there's a drop-down bow. So as any passenger is boarding the boat, they don't have to climb up over anything. There's no steps, there's no hoist, there's no lift involved.
And you can pull this, put this on.
This closes back up just by means of a handle here. And that just closes the door, and it's one level throughout, so they've full access. Yeah. And at the moment we're using our old ramp. This is a temporary ramp that we've used for the past 2 years, but beside it we have our lovely shiny new ramp.
It
it's
looks
not
amazing,
finished being commissioned yet, but hopefully in a few days that'll be up and running. And it's unusual in that it doesn't float, it's on hydraulic legs. So because a lot of electric wheelchairs are very, very heavy.
Yeah.
Do you know, and there's a lot of weight in them. So we need to keep everything pretty static. So that, as you can see, there's a lip at the end of the ramp. Our bow door goes onto that lip.
Are you connecting the boat to the jetty, and so the boat don't move, and okay, understand.
Because then when a heavy wheelchair comes on, the bow of the boat doesn't drop down; it stays level, and it gives people more confidence.
Yes.
Do you know, because you're often dealing with people who haven't been out on boats probably ever, you know, so it's to give them more confidence. And we're really looking forward to when we can officially open that jetty and have full use of it.
Crossing fingers.
Yes, indeed. It will work eventually. The The boat can take up to 9 passengers and up to 3 wheelchairs. So even the big electric wheelchairs, we can still put 3 of them in. The seats all drop down.
Great.
As you can see, there's anchor points then on the floor because
for the wheelchairs, and you can that you don't roll it. Wow.
And it's the same if you put a wheelchair onto a bus; it needs to be secured in as well.
Yeah.
And so it's.
And you have fresh air.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes we'll take the sides off because occasionally, even in Ireland, we get good weather sometimes. You know?
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
No, we have. It's amazing. It's amazing how part.
This summer's not been too bad now. In fairness, it's okay. You know.
Yeah, great.
So that's it. So I say 9 people. The fact you only take 9 people is a big advantage because we can tailor trips to what people want. Do you know?
Yeah.
And it's seldom enough you'd have 2 groups mixed. It would normally be one group coming out at a time. No, and it's you know if you go onto a bigger tour boat, you just take what you're given.
Yeah.
Whereas we can take out people, maybe they have intellectual disabilities, and so they want to go up the river, they want to hear the sound of the water, they want to feel the wind in their hair, they want to run their fingers through the water or whatever.
Yeah, great.
Another group might want the history down on the lakes. So we can tailor it for that group. We're small enough to be able to do that, and being small is probably one of the biggest advantages of this boat.
What they want and what they need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All the best, and we go for a coffee now, yeah?
Yeah,
okay, great. Bye.
Yeah.
So, Harry, thank you so much. It was an amazing experience
I
to be here.
hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
I hope you'll take something away from it.
Yeah.
And I hope your viewers will maybe come and use it at some stage. If not, maybe it'll inspire them to do something similar.
Yeah. No? Thank you so much.
No, sure. You're very, very welcome.
So,
okay, Take care, Pat. All the best.
Bye.
Bye now.